The dust is yet to settle on the presidential election in Taiwan that has seen sharp rebuke from China. The Philippines has been caught in the wake of that, Beijing summoning Manila's ambassador after President Ferdinand Marcos congratulated Taiwan's president-elect William Lai on his victory.
我们正告菲方，不要在台湾问题上玩火，切实恪守一个中国原则和中非建交公报，立即停止在涉台问题上的错误言行，停止向台独分裂势力发出任何错误信号。
Also hitting back at the United States, Beijing is accusing Washington of interfering in its internal affairs after one official criticised the Pacific island nation of Nauru for breaking ties with Taipei in favour of Beijing, just days after the island held its polls. Now for more, CNA's Lo Min joins us. She's live for us in Shanghai. Min, ties between China and the Philippines, they have been far from smooth for some months now. Is this spat likely to further strain relations, though?
No doubt this is just going to be another thorn in the side for both countries after the two sides had traded multiple rounds of accusations over collisions in the South China Sea, where both the Philippines and China have competing territorial claims. And today, in a barb directly to President Marcos, the Foreign Ministry said they suggest he read more books to get a correct understanding of the context of the Taiwan issue so as to draw the right conclusions. Now, Beijing has made solemn representations to the Filipino ambassador to China, calling on the Philippines to give a responsible explanation for President Marcos's remarks. But bear in mind that the Philippines isn't the only country that Beijing has lashed out at. Beijing has also hit out at the US, UK and Japan for similarly congratulating the Taiwanese president-elect William Lai for winning the election. But analysts say, however, that any reaction from Beijing on the Taiwan elections is going to be very carefully calibrated because Beijing wouldn't want to risk a very costly war at this point, and they also wouldn't want to risk the very hard-won rapprochement that we're seeing develop between China and US in the very recent months.
At the same time, Min, the Pacific island nation of Nauru also stirring up some friction between the United States and China. Can you bring us up to speed with the reaction that we've seen since Nauru cut diplomatic ties with Taiwan in favour of Beijing?
Yes, so Washington had expressed disappointment at that, and now Beijing's reaction is to say that the U.S. is slandering and smearing Beijing and also making excuses to expand the international space for Taiwan. Beijing said that Washington's remarks is irresponsible, given that it's a comment on the decision by a sovereign nation state, and that violates the basic norms of international relations, according to Beijing. So China is urging the U.S. not to support Taiwan independence forces. We know Beijing has repeatedly said that Taiwan is at the very core of China's core interests and the first red line in U.S.-China relations. But again, analysts have said that Beijing may interpret William Lai's relatively low vote share, as well as the fact that he has lost the legislative majority, as a signal that China's long-standing Taiwan policy has actually worked. So whether or not this election will trigger Beijing to rethink its cross-strait policy, we'll have to wait for more signals coming out of the Taiwan Affairs Work Conference that's going to take place before the Chinese New Year.
Well, stay with us, Min. We will come back to you after this next story.